Traditional English breakfast. Black pudding. My forecast is about customs, laws and phenomena surrounding the transportation and consumption of animal blood by human beings. Blood is travelling around all of the time. It's the definition of something which is in circulation. The blood inside your body travels about 12,000 miles every day. But this presentation is concerned with blood outside of the body and animals which are not humans and blood travelling not in arteries but in vans and stuff. Now, focusing on Western Europe and drawing from these observations some of the implications for this marketplace for us good folk here in the north of England, in Manchester, black pudding is made with, amongst other things, pig's blood. And in the north of England, we consider ourselves to be the original black pudding people. But why are we eating pig's blood? Where does it come from? In trying to explain how some specific things interrelate, we already understand that everything is already entirely globally interrelated, and beyond the global scale, on a universal scale, things are interrelated, at least since the Big Bang. Now, we shouldn't start every story from Adam and Eve, as they say, but concern regarding the consumption of animal blood by humans is well documented on timescales which are unfamiliar to the traditional report in what might be called biblical times. We had the Old Testament, where some of the earliest written laws which are still in use today in Judaism were created. You must not eat the blood of any bird or animal. Then, of course, the New Testament, that came along and said something like, it isn't what goes into your mouth that is impure, but what came out of it. And so, from then on, some Christians at least could eat blood, and of course, anyone else who either wasn't concerned with these teachings or hadn't heard of them, they could eat blood anyway as well. And so the question though is, why do so many people eat blood here in Europe? Well, blood contains a lot of protein. And in times of great hunger, so for example, the great hunger in Ireland, people would actually take blood from a live animal and make a kind of blood pancake with it, or a kind of bloody milkshake. And this kind of thing still happens with the Maasai people in Kenya. And they take the blood directly from the animal, which in a way is the best way to consume blood if you're concerned with provenance, which means where the blood comes from. They do it, of course, for a ritual purpose, but if you think about it, the blood leaves the neck of the animal and it only has to travel a very short distance from the neck into a kind of a jug. Not very far at all, about a foot. In Spain, in Andalusia, they also have a thing, which is around here, called matanza, where the pigs are slaughtered in public in a kind of fiesta. So they're very close to where the blood is coming from. But getting back here to the north of England, where does our blood come from? Traditionally, black pudding has always been made using a waste product, using blood from slaughtered animals. And sadly, in our recent past, blood obtained from animal slaughter in the UK has actually made its way back into the animal food chain. I suppose because it is a great source of protein. So in the 80s and 90s, you had cattle eating the blood of other cattle and blood of chickens and no doubt horses as well. And through this bizarre process, there was a bizarre misfolding of proteins within the blood itself. And this is thought to have led to brain disease in the animals, mad cow disease, which meant that all of the cattle, pretty much, in Britain, were killed and incinerated. And from that point on, slaughterhouses in the UK, well, they've had to have much stricter controls about what happens to the waste blood. So most of that is also incinerated now. So where does the blood for this black pudding come from? Well, one country in Europe with more pigs than people is the Netherlands. And the people in the Netherlands are kind enough to dry out their waste pig's blood and ship it over to us. So bizarrely, that's what this is. Blood which has travelled from the Netherlands to make the traditional black pudding for the traditional English breakfast.